Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's Caffeine for the Soul. And I want to put in a plug for something brand new. Depending on when this airs, it's either available now or coming soon. But we have created an AI version of me that we're affectionately calling Digital Michael. And I've been working with a team in the Czech Republic who have been developing AI for a few years, and we spent probably about 6 months developing this and testing it. And I've got to be honest, I was very resistant to it. The whole idea of it freaked me out, and it is so good. So do check it out at michaelneill.ai. Today's episode is a response to a question that comes up surprisingly often, particularly if I'm speaking to groups of self-helpers or psychologists or NLPers or people who come out of these change your thinking, change your life type modalities. And it's often noted after a while that I don't talk about beliefs in my work, even though I talk about thought and thinking quite extensively. And so the question comes up, well, why don't you talk about beliefs? Because what you're saying is really just like a limiting belief. Here's as best I can tell, because I won't say that it is on purpose that I don't do it. But one of the main reasons I don't talk about beliefs is it sounds like a thing. And once you thingify something, once you take an idea and make it solid, now you've got to deal with it. Now you've got to do something with it. So when I take a thought, like just the thinking, the stuff that passes through our mind all day long, and I turn it into a belief, now, well, belief must have deep roots in my subconscious or my unconscious, and I need to reprogram myself to change my limiting beliefs, or I need to replace them with positive, empowering beliefs. And I have been in that world. I have taught in that world. I have affirmed my way through that world. And it's a lot of work, and it doesn't often work. I won't say it never does, because it does. But it sort of takes continual vigilance. My own experience is that when you see thought for what it is, when you have a higher level of thought recognition and you start to actually notice that your experience of something is an experience of your thinking, not an experience of a thing, it changes all by itself. And even long-standing problems can just go poof. So let's talk a little bit about beliefs. First off, there is no such thing as a belief. The word belief is, and I talk about on this podcast, the word belief is what we comes from transformational grammar, is called a nominalization. It's an activity that we describe as a thing. It's a verb that we describe and use as a noun. So it's a process that we turn into an object. So you know there's no such thing as a belief, because I can show you a cup of coffee, but you can't show me a belief. You can write down the words, but there's no there. Now, that might sound nitpicky until you start to play it through. If there's no such thing as a belief, but there is a process or activity involved, then we might be able to change the process or activity. We might be able to do something different, and the whole thing would change. So what is the process or activity that we describe as a belief? Well, it's the process or activity of believing in a thought, of treating a thought as if it were true and acting accordingly. Now, just because you have a thought in your head doesn't mean you have to treat it as if it's true. And in fact, you have thoughts go through your mind all the time that you don't believe. Now, sometimes they're thoughts about, hey, actually, I'm pretty good at this. Oh, no, that's crazy. Often, they're thoughts that are completely random, like, I bet space aliens built this. Yeah, no, probably not. But often the thoughts we believe are basically just about how crap we are, or how crap life is, or how crap our life is. And then we try to counter that by making ourselves believe that life is good and we're wonderful and my life is wonderful. And As I said, sometimes it kinda sorta seems to work. But let's just see how much simpler it could be. If you didn't have to believe everything you think, but you could believe anything that you think, and the choice was yours, how would you decide which thoughts to believe and which thoughts not to believe? So one thing you might go is, well, is it true? But truth really is kind of only true right at the beginning of experience. Like what's true is true before any implications to that truth. So if I have a thought, I'm drinking coffee now, well, I can check. Am I drinking coffee now? Well, no, right now I'm actually speaking to you, but I do have a coffee in my hand. So we could say, well, that one's true. But most of the things we think, we don't know if they're true or not. In fact, if you've ever done Byron Katie's The Work, the first question she has everybody ask of every thought they have is it true? Can I really know that it's true? And one of the things that anyone who's done the work for a while realizes is there's no thought that you can absolutely know is true. You can say, well, it's accurate. But any thought about a person or an idea or the world, I can't actually know it's true. I can just kind of come up with my justification for believing it. So if is it true isn't that helpful, what might be? And there are three questions that I have found quite helpful that I'll share with you. And the first is, would it be genuinely helpful to believe it? Like if I could believe that I'm an incredibly capable human being, would that be helpful? And in most instances, yeah, I could say, yeah, it would be really helpful to believe that. Would it be genuinely helpful to believe that I am a worthless piece of crap? No. There's very few situations that are going to be better by my putting my faith in the idea that I am a worthless piece of crap. So if you think about something that, a thought that you have regularly, maybe a thought that you have thought of as a belief, is it genuinely helpful? Is it genuinely helpful to believe it? Now, second question is, does it feel good to believe it? Like, do you get a nice feeling when you think the thought? Like, again, if I take those same kind of examples, wow, I'm an incredible, capable human being. Yeah, for me, that feels good. Now, somebody else might go, no, that feels horrible. Well, great. How does it feel to you? And if it feels good, well, why wouldn't you believe it as best you can? And if it doesn't feel good, like, does it feel good to think I am a worthless piece of crap? Not really. Okay, well, then why would I believe in that thought? If I can't know that it's true, and it isn't genuinely helpful, and it doesn't feel good, why would I put my faith in it? And that ultimately leads to what I think is the third and the simplest, to the point where you might not believe it's possible, possibility. Do I want to believe it? Do I want to believe I'm a worthless piece of crap? No. Do I want to believe I'm incredibly capable? Yeah, I like that thought. So I'm gonna put some faith in that thought. But here's the thing. I don't need it to be objectively true 24/7. It's just a nice, helpful thought to think from time to time. So I don't need to create it as a new positive belief. But when it comes through, I can put my faith in it. I can believe in it. And if the thoughts that are coming up again and again aren't helpful and they don't feel good and you don't want to believe them, you don't have to keep thinking them. And you certainly don't have to believe them when they pass through your mind. Now, if that sounds very like, oh, well, yes, but how do I do it? My invitation to you this week is to pay attention to all the places you're already doing it. There are so many things in your life, so many thoughts you used to believe that at some point you stopped believing. And there are lots of thoughts that you didn't used to believe that you've started to believe. And just by paying a bit of attention and noticing that this is a skill, a capacity that you already have to believe what you want to believe in the thoughts that are helpful to you and feel good, and to stop putting your faith and time and attention on thoughts that aren't helpful, don't feel good, and you just don't want to. You'll be surprised at how much more fluid your thinking gets, how much simpler your life gets, and how much more headspace you start to have, because you're not continually trying to maintain or get rid of a belief. Have fun, learn heaps, happy exploring, and I'll talk with you soon.